Finally, His Holiness has entered the mini PC space. That's right, AOOSTAR God57 mini PC is here, and it brings something unique and awesome to the table. Something we've been asking for a very long time. And I swear, it's not the RGB lighting. And we're going to talk about it right after this message. Have you lost a product key on your PC? AOOSTAR Key Finder can recover and back up all product keys on your system. With this app, you can display product keys of Windows, Office, Adobe products, and more. You can also find Wi-Fi codes, browser accounts, and passwords. Try it for free with a link in the video description. So, AOOSTAR God57 comes with the Ryzen 5700U, but that's not the interesting part. Where this mini PC changes the game completely is the 9mm fan used to cool it. Tech chubby rising, baby. Much like many of you, I've been wanting the small laptop fans to be ditched for a large desktop style, for as long as I can remember. Of course, that means the box is a little bigger, but not by a huge amount. And the benefits completely destroy that small increase in size, as you'll soon see. Did somebody say very low fan noise? No? Oh shit, I'm hearing voices again. Well, after reviewing this many mini PCs, I was bound to go nuts at some point. AOOSTAR God57 is available for $319 after the coupon and comes with a 512GB Gen 3 NVMe drive and 16GB of DDR4 3200 memory. This puts it around the Intel i5-12450H price point, which I reviewed previously, so I'm going to compare them. The God57's shell is completely plastic and just doesn't feel very solid. It creaks in the hands and the plastic quality isn't great. This, along with the cyberpunk design, is its weakest point. I'm sure someone in the comments will say how awesome it looks, and more power to you. I would have gone with a holy theme myself. And yeah, it's got RGB lighting blasting through the top of it, which you can change by pressing the button on the front. I'll just go through the various modes for you, because I'm good like that. Personally, I think the off mode is great and is my pick of the bunch. When you unbox God, you get a power cord and a 65W USB-C power supply, which makes this the least power hungry mini PC in the benchmarks. There's also a SATA ribbon expansion and HDMI cord. User manual is also included, but not pictured. Okay, let's look at the ports. A power button and audio jack along with dual USB 3 10GB ports. There's a typo, or I guess you'd call it a misprint on the USB Type-C. It says 40GB, which would be USB 4. That isn't supported on the 5000 series. And just to make sure, I tried my eGPU and it wasn't detected. This one's just a 10GB Type-C port with display out capability. Finally, we have the RGB button where all the magic happens. On the back is the USB-C power delivery for the included power supply. 2 LAN ports, one being Intel 2.5GB and the other Realtek Gigabit. The remainder consists of DisplayPort, HDMI and dual USB 2. So with the USB-C port on the front, this mini supports triple 4K 60Hz monitors. To get access to the 9mm fan, you'll need a Torx screwdriver. It's a Torx 10 head from my repair kit. And to get access to storage and memory, we need to remove the bottom of the case. It looks like these M3 mounting holes can be used for VESA mounting, but no mount or M3 screws are included. The screws to open it are covered by glued on rubber feet, my favorite. They don't screw off so easily either. Okay, lift it up, and the 2.5-inch SATA drive can be placed right here. But again, no screws are provided. Oh, and I'm so happy to see a heatsink on the M.2 NVMe storage. The CMOS battery is also easily accessible in case it ever runs out of juice in the future, and underneath the storage drive is an Intel M.2 AX200 Wi-Fi 6 card plus Bluetooth. So, for maintenance, upgrade and repair, this is one of the easiest minis around this size to work with. While God comes with Windows 11 pre-installed, he's also Linux friendly, or at least Ubuntu friendly. Everything worked fine off the USB drive. So, how does the lower powered Ryzen 5700U stack up against the competition? That's an interesting one considering its price, performance, and the ace up its sleeve, which we'll cover later. The Ryzen 5000 series single core performance was never very impressive compared to Intel's 12th gen, and in this case, it's 25% behind the nearly identically priced Trikey G12. By default, the multi-core score is also at the bottom, but that's because the 25 watt boost setting isn't enforced all the time. We can change that in the BIOS. Go to Advanced, AMD, CBS, NBIO Common Options, SMU Common Options, and Smart Shift Control. Thanks to viewer Cat Rollo for pointing out the location in the BIOS. In here, set the bottom 3 to 25 watts or 25,000. Save and exit, and here is the result. Now it matches the 12450H in multi-core using much less power. Intel CPUs have the advantage in video encoding, and even with a power increase, the 5700U falls behind by a lot, around 23%. AMD graphics beat Intel's in most cases at similar price points, and you can see the same here with the 5700U. Almost 13% faster than the 12450H in DX11, and a massive 31% in the DX12 benchmark. Unfortunately, the NVMe storage drive included isn't godlike. Sequential read and write performance is far below the 3,500 or so megabytes a second maximum for Gen 3. Does this matter? I'd say no. The random 4K is much more important for most usage cases. That being said, this isn't a fast Gen 3 drive for moving large files. Intel has the lead in video editing thanks to its QuickSync hardware decoder. On the AMD side, the CPU does the heavy lifting, and while 4K video editing isn't terrible, it's definitely less laggy and more responsive on Intel's 12450H when scrubbing and playing back video on the timeline. Exporting the final video is also going to take longer, as the encoding benchmark already showed. Alright, let's hit the games. So we're comparing the AOOSTAR God57 with its 65 watt power supply versus the Trikey G12, which comes with a 120 watt power supply. The results are pretty interesting. Dota 2 has God in the 60 to 70 frames per second range, and he's bottlenecked, as GPU utilization is low, while the Intel Mini is in the 60 to 90 FPS range. Valorant is a CPU heavy game, and God holds above 100 FPS, but Intel's CPU still does much better.
One enemy remaining.
The gap does narrow with League of Legends, and the 12450H manages to still stay ahead. With Counter-Strike 2, it's even closer, with the Intel Mini just getting a better frame rate. With God's superior integrated graphics, he finally has a win with the Grand Theft Auto 5 challenge, especially on the driving sections.
Come on, let's get to the chopper. We move quick, we can beat the train.
Okay, let's switch it up with emulation. Intel again has the lead where CPU power is most important. But now with Wipeout and PS3 emulation, the Intel Mini gets trounced. Interesting. Fan noise drives me bananas, and I think it's essential to test and compare it between minis. Otherwise, you're likely to get burned. And this mini doesn't disappoint with its large 9mm fan. It's godlike. So my noise meter doesn't detect sound under 29 dBA, and at 30 centimeters distance, it didn't detect God either. Pure stealth, and that's pretty freaking awesome. This is the quietest actively cooled mini PC I've reviewed on this channel for over a year. The only time you even realize there actually is a fan is when the mini PC does a quick self-test when you power it on. At the default power level, it has the lowest CPU temp at 75C, and if we up the boost limit to permanent, it still manages to keep quiet and peaks at 85C. You can also increase the fan speed in the BIOS to drop temps further, but I'm happy as it is. Idle power draw is on the lower side at 8 watts, which is good, and max power draw is much lower than the G12 we compared earlier. With a constant boost mode of 25 watts, this mini just peaked at 55 watts, so it's not just quiet, but power efficient as well. Unfortunately, the included storage drive doesn't have a working temperature sensor, so I can't give you the maximum readout, but it has a heatsink, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. After all, it is God. Alrighty then, let's summarize the findings. AOOSTAR God57 comes with a 9mm fan, which is a game changer. It makes the system cool and quiet. Access to both the fan and the storage and memory isn't difficult, so you can take it apart, clean it, make love to it, whatever you fancy without issue. And I'm happy M.2 cooling is included. I'm not a fan of the outer design. The plastic and build quality could be better. It creaks and squeaks in the hands. Also, gamers and power users will find this one lacking in performance. This mini PC is powered with a 65 watt power supply, so it might not be the fastest, but it doesn't use a lot of power either. Another thing it's lacking in is included accessories. No screws for the 2.5 inch drive or the M3 holes, which look to be for monitor mounting, and there's no monitor mount either. Overall, you get a low powered box that is very quiet and has some decent performance to go with it. I've replaced my fanless Intel N100 Mini with this one, as it gives me much more performance and doesn't annoy me with fan noise. So for that, I think it's great. If you value low fan noise, it doesn't get much better than this. Just shame about the aesthetics. But if the i5-12450H mini PC is interesting to you, why not check out the GMK Tech M3, which comes with a metal case and performs pretty well for around the same price. Cheers!